Nowadays, most of us choose to record our faces with cameras. We choose good angles, excellent retouching software, and create a beautiful selfie. Of course I will, but I think the mirror is not the me I see in my eyes, so I pick up a pen and draw the real me. This is my collection of self-portraits. Have you ever thought about one question? Why almost every artist used to draw a self-portrait in the past, but nowadays less and less people draw self-portraits? Is it because of the lens of the camera? Indeed, we cannot deny that the biggest reason is because the technology of that era was not advanced enough. In order to record their appearance, the rich and powerful will hire painters to draw their faces and images by hand. Then similarly, artists could of course be self-sufficient and draw a self-portrait for themselves for free to record their appearance. But I never thought that self-portraits could be replaced by cameras. The first self-portrait I remember seeing was by Van Gogh. After he cut off his hair for a prostitute, he did not paint the side of his face with his hair cut off for a while. But as he slowly came to terms with it, he began to paint the side of his face where he had lost his hair and the white bandages that bound his old face. But what we can feel in the painting is not only the change in his appearance and mentality. The brush strokes and the colors used in the painting reveal to us the traces left on his mind by time and events he experienced. His strong emotions piled up in his heart, which turned into pulse from his heartbeat and drove his arms to flow on the painting. I have been drawing my own sketches since a long time ago, drawing tiny, drawing in the place where I can. A dozen seconds to draw one, I consider it my signature. I remember the first time I seriously drew a self-portrait was almost 3 years ago. I was very disliked my own face and felt my face had very many flaws. I tried to draw my face as a beautiful self-portrait in which I erased the flaws that made me inferior. At that time, it was a self-portrait that was too beautiful for me to tell others that was me. This was my second self-portrait, and I used a very cute drawing style to paint out my inferiority flaws. At that time, I was starting to choose to face my flaws. Just recently, I hear the questions that make me think. That is, if there was someone exactly like you, would you fall in love with her? Would you choose to love her? I thought about this question for a long time. I imagined she would be lying in the frog of my arm, curly hair touching my skin. It would be itchy, but it must be soft. Her lines would be deep, but she would always forget about it, and laugh out loud. I thought about it and cried. I was a little confused for it. So I drew this self-portrait, the most imperfect version of me. I drew almost all the flaws that made me feel inferior, but I looked at her, and I still wanted to touch her soft hair. Self-portraits mean a lot to me. They help me understand and accept myself better. So why do so few people draw self-portraits? I choose to interview my close friends. Because someone don't love themselves enough nowadays, too shy, so say they don't want to draw their own face. I don't think it's not because they don't love themselves enough. It's probably because they know their face too well. But in fact, I think more often than not it's because people don't think about it. Is it because it's not necessary? If you draw someone else, maybe that can make you feeling good. For example, I will draw a picture for someone to give that one, and then he or she will be happy and say, "You drew very well." Maybe there is this reason in it, but I think it's more because we look in the mirror every day, so we know enough about our own face. Nowadays, there are many people can make up. They will understand their own features first, and then paint the makeup that suits them. So majority of people no longer need a self-portrait to understand themselves. Then there is the second one. I think it's mainly because it's not necessary. If you want to remember how you look, you can record it with your phone with a camera. Instead, it feels like you are practicing drawing rather than recording how you look. The last one. I draw myself, but not real self-portrait. I will create many characters myself, and then blend my various characteristics into them. And I will refer to my own face when I design each character. So I think that although I don't show my own complete self-portrait, but I actually paint each one as my own self-portrait. These are the people I interviewed. Of course, I took pictures to record my status at different time, but the moment you press the shutter to record this completely different from the feelings you got when you click on the two modes to draw the most annoying lines. Of course, I look at myself in the mirror every day, but there is still a big difference between what I see in the mirror and what I see in myself. Obviously, my face hasn't changed much in 3 years, but my self-portrait is drastically different, as my perception of myself changed in my mind. I always thought that self-portraits could not be replaced by photos. I also think that self in the mirror is not the self I perceive. So, do you want to draw a self-portrait too?